Welcome back to another episode of Unscripted, the go-to podcast for those flipping the script and taking the unexpected path. I'm your host, Jessica Bergio, holistic life and business coach, author, speaker, and self-proclaimed high-energy hype girl. Each week, I'm bringing you inside. No gatekeeping here. I'll touch on proven holistic business strategies, powerful mindset shifts that have led my clients through massive transformations, and no BS conversation with industry leaders designed to help you get out of your own way to actively pursue a life of purpose. If you're ready to ditch the limitations at the door, hit follow and get ready to be activated to step boldly towards your big goals. Now let's dive in. What's up, guys? I'm so glad you're back. I'm excited to share with you episode 2 here on this mini series, all about clearing the blocks, because you're not stuck. You're probably fucking distracted, and distractions look like opportunities when you don't trust yourself yet. I'm going to say that again. You are not stuck. You're distracted. And distractions look like opportunities when you don't trust yourself yet. So today's focus is going to be around discernment, self-trust, and noise elimination. I told you on the last episode that we were going to get into some of the things that we might be needing to get rid of. So welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, my name is Jess Bergio. This is Unscripted, the podcast. And this is a 4-part mini series. This is episode 2 of that 4-part series. And we are talking all about clarity and visibility moving into 2026. So on the last episode, if you missed it or if you were here, we talked about owning your truth and claiming your season. And today we're talking about something even more important. This is one of my favorite words, and it's called discernment. Discernment. It's just a really fancy word for can you tell what is actually meant for you and what is just noise. It is so simple, yet the most important thing that as a human you can figure out for yourself. And I call this the discernment gap, right? Because the space between what you say you want and the decisions you actually make is a gap. It's a whole ass missing piece. And so where there's a gap, you chase things that are not aligned. Anybody else? You buy courses that you don't need. You look at other people's timelines and you all of a sudden feel so behind. You say yes to things that drain you. You label that resistance that you are feeling as failure, right? Like, what is wrong? You self-abandon. I did all of that, but here's the truth. Here's the freaking truth. Most women, we're not confused. We're not. We're just super overloaded. And it's not that we're unmotivated. I think sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm just not motivated, but you're probably just freaking overwhelmed. You're probably overwhelmed versus unmotivated. Because imagine if you had all the spaciousness in the world, you probably would be motivated. And you're not probably stuck either. You're just distracted. Distraction is a real thing. Hello, I'm holding my phone up right now. Not only that, I have 7 tabs open on my computer, right? The email needs my attention. My emails going out to my list need my attention. My marketing team needs my attention. My VA needs my attention. My media and scripted agency for podcasters needs my attention. I need to be sitting down creating content and be really, really focused. Sometimes thinking about all that stuff keeps me really stuck. And then I can't take any freaking action. Next thing you know, I'm eating a granola bar, having a coffee, scrolling on social media. I wouldn't call that stuck. I'd call that really, really distracted. And I'd call that, obviously, we talked about it in the last episode, procrastination and distraction. So today I really want us to just drop in and break down the difference between a distraction and an opportunity. And I've talked about this a lot over the last couple of years in the podcast space and in the online coaching space and in the event space and all of these things that we see shiny objects online, right? The rooms, the people, the mentors, because they can almost look identical. Like a distraction and an opportunity can almost look like the same thing. And you have to get so discerning around who you are and what you desire. And we really tapped into that in the last episode. So if you haven't listened to the last episode yet, please pause this right now. Go back and listen to episode 1 and do the journal prompts that are in there. Listen to the first 5 minutes of the episode, if nothing less, around all of the things that I asked of you, because I think once you break those down, these next steps and things that we're going to go over are going to be so much easier to figure out. You're probably already going to have clarity on them. But just for those of us who are tapping into this episode, who are like, what is a distraction? Help me discern between the two. For me, distractions often look like things that are like quick dopamine hits, right? Like your phone, or it'll look like a misaligned mentorship where you get in the wrong room by accident because somebody had really good marketing and or you accidentally put them on a pedestal and they're just human, but you had these really grandiose ideas of how they were going to change your life by you just paying to be in the room. People's shinies offers, courses, programs, things that you don't actually even need because you don't even know what your business is yet or what you're actually wanting to create or do. based on the season that you're in. All of that will make more sense if you listen to the last episode. There are certain other distractions that are just like patterns you've outgrown. So things that once served you before that don't anymore, like maybe going to happy hour with girlfriends is a huge distraction, because not only does it take away time in the evening, maybe with your family, or time for you to work or relax, it also doesn't leave you feeling good the next day because you're hungover. Or maybe your girlfriends like to gossip and that negative energy bleeds into the rest of the week. And then all you do is find things to get, down about, or you're stuck commiserating with your friends. Those patterns, it's time to outgrow those ones, right? But those are what distractions can actually look like. Or the simple shit like, well, everyone else online is doing this, so I probably should be doing it too. Everyone has a course. I should make a course. Everyone's going online. I should take my business online. Comparing your season to someone else's pace, that is probably the worst thing we can do, because we do not know other people's backstory. Even the mentors that I have gotten really close to, I don't know their true experience or backstory. They may have shared their childhood, how they grew up, what challenges they faced early on. But like, if I try to compare myself to anybody else who's not identical to me, and there's nobody identical to me, I'm going to feel behind, especially if they got a jump start on me. It's the worst thing ever, because it causes distraction, because you're looking at them instead of looking at what you could be doing. So let's dive into the feel goods. Let's change the energy here. What does an opportunity feel like? It feels like an expansion. Like I just puffed my chest up a little bit. It feels like alignment. It feels like growth. It can feel like activation, which sometimes activation can feel stretchy. It feels like honesty. And it's kind of that whispering knowingness, even though it might be kind of a scary opportunity, like maybe getting asked to speak on stage for the first time, or maybe you've never been on a podcast before, but somebody asked you to be on a podcast, right? But most of all, it feels like truth. And distractions are usually really comfortable. That's why we do them. That's why they're a distraction, because they're easy. And they can also feel really stagnant. And your body really does know the difference. So here's how to listen to the difference between the two. And you're going to have to go through seasons where you allow some distractions that seem like opportunities to take you down the path. So you can be like, yep, nope, that was actually a distraction. That didn't help me align to my vision. That didn't get me closer to where I wanted to go. That's not actually where I needed to be spending my time. But I guarantee you'll still learn a lesson or two from whatever distraction you accidentally continue to do or let you take you out, because very few opportunities are actually what you need. But here's how to listen. So if you feel like that contraction in your body, it's probably a no for you. Now, to tap into that one, if it's just fear, right? Like the fear of speaking on someone's stage when you've been given the opportunity, and that's really what you say you want. I want to be a speaker. I want to be well known. I want to build a personal brand. I want to be seen and known as a thought leader. If that feels kind of constricting, it also could just be fear. So take everything I say with like a grain. You're going to be in a different season. Everyone listening to this episode is going to be in a different place in their life. Expansion probably feels like a yes. I'm scared, but I want to do it anyways, because this is the thing I know that's going to grow me. Dread. If you're dreading something, you're probably saying yes to things that are sucking your energy and time, and they're just so misaligned. You're just not having enough boundaries around what you need to be saying no to. If you start to have that sinking feeling, like if you're in the wrong room, or if you purchase something and it's not going the way it should be going, that's what happened to me recently. I shared with you guys with that branding agency. I started to have a sinking feeling I wasn't going to get what I thought I was going to get out of it. They sold it really good, and I drank that fucking Kool-Aid. I did. But when you're in the right room with the right people, almost money's no object, right? It's like this feeling of being like, this is it. Like I'm in the right room. You just feel so expanded, so full, so lifted up, like anything is possible. And if you want to layer in the human design, like I always like to do, we lead with different authorities, right? So we all have different authorities in our human design. For some of you, this feels like a different language. For those of you who are tapped into human design, you know, we all have a different authority. So for my emotional authority people, we have to wait to feel neutral. For those of you in your sacral, you have to listen to that like, yep. For the splenic authority, you need to trust that immediate whisper. For our ego authority, the desire matters. For us projectors, you guys know I'm a projector, we have to wait for that recognition and invitation. Reflectors have to give things time, but your body, even using tools like human design that are meant to help you make decisions and to feel into things, it's not the end all be all. Again, we're all so different. So your body is going to help you figure things out. Your intuition is your strategy, so don't outsource that as much as you think you should. And let self-trust be that foundation for you. In our next episode, we're going to step into the vision. I want to help paint that picture for you, who you're becoming in 2026 and who you want to be in the room with. But first, here are your prompts for today's episode. We have a couple of them. Write these ones down, work on them now, or come back to them at a later point. What distractions am I choosing over my goals? That's a good one. What distractions am I choosing over my goals? Because in some seasons, there's going to have to be some sacrifices where you're going to have to give up some of those distractions in order to pursue your goal to the fullest extent. Next one is, what opportunities have I ignored because they scared me? Oof. This past year has been a big expansion year for me. I've been asked to speak on more stages this past year and to do more presentations than I ever have before. And they all scared me. They all stretched me. But with each one, I felt less and less like I was going to throw up every time, less and less like I wanted to run away right before it happened, and more appreciative of the fact that I haven't quit and that I have been praying for these opportunities. And so even through the fear, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to push myself. All right, next question, next journal prompt. What does expansion feel like in my body? Not what does it look like for somebody else? What do I think it's supposed to look like? What does it feel like in your body? Next one is, what does contraction feel like? You know exactly what that feels like. And you know exactly what places and people make you feel like you want to contract. This can look like a friendship where you can't go to them and share the wins that you have. I was in a situation like that for a few years where I really only could connect with that person on things that weren't really like quote unquote brag worthy. This is why being in masterminds and group coaching programs and having a mentor is so important, because you should be able to unapologetically brag, share, talk about your wins. Big, small, crazy big, tiniest of wins. First client signed, first podcast invitation, first speaking engagement, first time I got through a whole masterclass and didn't fuck it up, first sale, first dollar that you make, right? A lot of people who know you for the past version of you aren't going to be ready for this new version of you. So get discerning on that. Like, what does contraction feel like? And then the last one is, what is one distraction that you want to release before the year ends? I'm going to let you guys sit on this one. For a lot of my girlfriends a couple years ago, it was alcohol. They said that was a distraction that they needed to release. And I have had a lot of friends go sober, saying that it was one of the biggest distractions they used to numb out at the end of the day. And in truth, I'm not sober. I drink wine regularly. I've never really had a addictive personality, and I have a very sensitive stomach. So I really only can drink like one glass of wine at a time. But I would say that even having a glass of wine at night is a distraction. But I have such good boundaries that I only allow the glass of wine once all of the sacrifices, chores, tools, to-do list has been done. The distraction could look like, doing laundry around the house first thing in the morning instead of going for that early morning walk. The fucking laundry can wait. Your health is more important. Working an hour or two more in your business that would actually become profitable so you could pay to have a housekeeper instead of you spending the whole weekend cleaning the house, right? What distraction needs to get released before the end of the year? I'm going to leave you guys with those journal prompts. If these hit home, please let me know. Screenshot this episode. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet or followed us on YouTube or Spotify, please do. Most people are listening to podcasts now on Spotify and YouTube. And then the very few of you who still use the Apple podcast, I see you. I'm an Apple girl too. But just know you are not alone. We're going to get through this end of the year and we're going to be moving with momentum because you're going to have so much clarity. In the next episode, we're going to talk about vision, and we are going to freaking declare our vision for 2026. We're going to tap into our identity. We're going to build that vision, figure out those people that we need to be hooked up with, because I promise you, your next level won't come from hustling harder. It will come from being in the right rooms with the right people who reflect the highest version of you. I'm sending you so much love. I will see you on the next episode of Unscripted. Which one of your girls needs to hear this one? Send this to someone who could use a smile, some encouragement, and a little love from this edgy podcast host. Much thanks and all the love.